Bashkortostan is on fire. It's also extremely hot in Crimea. We will show you exclusive footage. And in St. Petersburg, Dmitry Gordon was just detained. In quotation marks, Dmitry Gordon. Tokayev is expelling Russians from Kazakhstan, and the Kremlin has rolled out yet another Putin double in public. Greetings, I'm Vladimir Timoshenko. This is the project In the Crosshairs. Let's get started. So at this very moment in Bashkortostan, here's what's happening. Ukrainian drones have struck the largest petrochemical plant in Bashkortostan. I should note that this is more than 1,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. The Ukrainian armed forces are truly doing an outstanding job. And things are anything but easy for the occupiers in the temporarily occupied Crimea as well. A powerful strike on the Nebo-U and Tor M1 radar stations. Exclusive details are coming up right now in my colleague's report.
On April 15th, the city of Stolitomak in the Republic of Bashkortostan was attacked by drones. Footage of drones flying overhead and the sounds of explosions are being posted online. According to an analysis by the Telegram channel Astra, the Stolitomak petrochemical plant in Bashkortostan, which produces aviation fuel, was attacked. This is evidenced by photos from the site of the strike. Local authorities confirmed the attack but did not name the facility, claiming that the drones were allegedly shot down.
Several drones were shot down over the industrial zone of Stolitomak. Debris fell on the territory of one of the enterprises.
The day before, on April 14th, a powerful explosion occurred at the oldest gunpowder plant in Kazan, Republic of Tatarstan. According to local authorities, a man-made explosion took place at the facility. The local administration also reported that the explosion caused a collapse in one of the workshops. There are casualties. According to the Telegram channel Astra, citing the Ministry of Health of Tatarstan, one person was killed as a result of the explosion. The cause of the explosion at the gunpowder plant is said to be a malfunction in the pressure relief system. On the night of April 15th, explosions were heard in the temporarily occupied Crimea. They could be heard in the areas of Armyansk, Jankoy, Feodosia, and Simferopol. According to the monitoring group Krymsky Veter, citing satellite imagery data, after the strikes, an electrical substation in the city of Jankoy and a fuel and lubricants warehouse in the village of Azovskoye, Jankoy district, are on fire.
Friends, subscribe to Union to know the truth about what is happening in Ukraine, in the rest of the civilized world, and how modern Putin's Russia is plunging into the abyss. And by the way, speaking of the Russian abyss, our regular segment, What's Up with Putin's Doubles? But first, about some other doubles. So this is just hilarious, friends. Photo to the studio. Well, in St. Petersburg, Russian police detained Dmitry Gordon. That's what the Z publics are reporting. Well, how Dmitry Gordon? The facial recognition system confused the Russian musician Dmitry Galyaminsky with the Ukrainian journalist Gordon. The police checked his rough stubble and messy hairstyle for a disguise and then let the man go. As they say, well, friends, this is simply a segment without comments. And now, as usual, about Putin's doubles. It seems the Kremlin has rolled out a new fake version of the bunker dweller for the Russians to feast on. One no less nasty than the original, and this time literally in short pants. My colleagues will tell and show you more details.
Russian dictator Vladimir Putin stood out with an unusual appearance and strange behavior. As reported by the Daily Star during high-level diplomatic discussions with Indonesia's newly elected president Prabowo Subianto, Vladimir Putin showed various emotional facial expressions that differed significantly from his usual reserved demeanor. The Kremlin leader's facial expressions captured the attention of members of the press, ranging from exaggerated grimaces to broad smiles. The publication also noted Putin's clothing. Putin was wearing short, slim-fit trousers that, when he was seated, appeared to be raised too high above his ankles. The author of the article referred to them as schoolboy pants. This informal style stood out from the classic dress code of the Indonesian delegation. It is not the first time the Russian dictator has found himself in awkward situations, such as the incident with his International Women's Day greeting. In the video originally published by the Kremlin press service, they forgot to cut out the unsuccessful takes. In the video, after the greeting, Putin coughed, stumbled over his words, and suggested re-recording the video.
Let me say that again, just to be certain. Did it actually go through, yes? I almost started coughing.
Another amusing situation happened during negotiations in Turkmenistan. At that time, Putin spoke for about 30 seconds into a microphone that, as it turned out, was switched off. Various international media outlets have also frequently observed and pointed out that Putin is quite self-conscious about his relatively short stature. To appear at least a little bit taller, he wears so-called elevator shoes, a type of specialized and custom-made footwear that significantly increases a person's apparent height and also corrects the length of the legs. In particular, these shoes have a hidden lift inside the last, with a heel inserted between the sole and a special insole. This allows the Russian dictator to artificially supplement his height by at least 10 centimeters.
And now let's move on to Chechnya. Here we have our own king of disgrace, and his name is, of course, Ramzan Kadyrov. Ramzan, who is barely hanging on, receives an order for his special contribution to the development of Russia's cement industry. Well, this is some kind of new meme. Just take a look for yourself.
I would like to speak to you today on behalf of the entire cement manufacturing community. It is only with your approval on your specific instructions and with your direct involvement that it is possible to implement a project as monumentally significant for the Republic as the construction of a brand new cement plant. You laid the foundation capsule for it. Thanks to your decision, the enterprise became a systemically important one, and we see very clear prospects for development, including joining the Grozny Special Economic Zone and the development of an entire cluster of building materials industries. In this regard, NC Cement has decided to award you the first-class order for your truly exceptional and significant contribution to the development of the cement industry of the Russian Federation. Congratulations to you from the professional community. Ahmad Power.
Oh Lord, once again, no comment. Now, attention! Tokayev, the president of Kazakhstan, is hitting Russia hard. Russians are being expelled from Kazakhstan. Yes, 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 you heard that right. Tokayev is showing Russians their place. So what exactly is happening in Astana? Why are the staunch Russians being kicked out? We'll show you now.
For Russians who have moved to Kazakhstan, the rules for obtaining a residence permit have changed. According to the Russian publication Medusa, to obtain a residence permit, you now have to prove proficiency in the Kazakh language at the B2 level. In particular, some Russians are complaining that they went through all the stages of the new residence permit system but were still denied. One of them, Vadim Ermolaev, posted a screenshot of the Commission's decision on his social media. The official document explicitly states that the applicant was found to have an inadequate level in several key criteria, including language proficiency, professional demand, and also significantly lacks the degree of social and economic adaptability. He also noted that his Russian acquaintances were also denied residence permits.
The same document was sent to everyone by email, which is called the main refusal. It is currently not possible to appeal the decision. There is no such option.
The requirement to prove proficiency in the Kazakh language at the B2 level is also being discussed in specialized groups on social media. At the same time, the Kazakh authorities have not yet published any official information about changes to the residence permit requirements for Russians. Despite the fact that Astana maintains friendly relations with Moscow, Kazakhstan takes a strict stance toward those who spread pro-Russian narratives. In particular, in November 2025, Kazakhstan convicted a Kazakh blogger who advocated for the Russian world, Aslan Tulegenov, known by the nickname Northern Kazakh. He was sentenced to 3 years and 9 months in prison under the article on inciting discord. Tulegenov openly supported Russia, considered himself part of the Russian world, and spoke in favor of the military invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, in a very recent development, Kazakhstan made the decision to increase the recycling fee for motor vehicles imported from Russia.
And at the same time, there has been another terrorist attack in Turkey, once again at a local school. The fact is, this is already the second attack on a school in Turkey within 24 hours. This time in the southeast of the country, 1 person was killed and 6 were injured as a result of the shooting. Security forces and some parents of students arrived at the scene. Yes, it really is terrible. And again, what's most frightening is that this is already becoming a trend. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin, let's get back to him, continues his purges in the Ministry of Murders of the Russian Federation. In the swamps, it's also called the Ministry of Defense. People from Shoigu's clan are getting caught up in the crackdown. What could be the reason for this? We'll tell you now.
The Russian dictator Vladimir Putin continues large-scale personnel purges in Russia's Ministry of Defense. As reported by Radio Liberty, the wave of investigations, dismissals, and high-profile criminal cases began back in the spring of 2024 and has already affected the top military leadership. It is noted that special agents of the Federal Security Service are investigating corruption, fraud, and embezzlement among deputy defense ministers, generals, and various officials. Many of those involved in these cases are connected to former Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, whom the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin dismissed in May 2024 as part of a personnel reshuffle. After his resignation, the investigation caught his associates and a number of Defense Ministry officials taking bribes. The sentences for the corrupt officials are quite severe. For example, former Deputy Defense Minister Pavel Popov was sentenced to 19 years in prison for bribery and embezzlement. The host of the Vovozhdy program, Vladimir Timoshenko, notes that the shutdown of mobile internet in Russia is closely linked to the purge of the country's military leadership, specifically to the fact that Putin is in a panic over the possibility of a revolt in the Kremlin. In particular, the Telegram channel VCHKOGPU wrote about this. According to the source's conspiratorial version, the Kremlin fears an attempted coup from the clan of Sergei Shoigu.
Putin is afraid that Shoigu will become his new Prigozhin. And just like with his own cook, out of fear, he starts jamming communications, shutting down the internet near the Kremlin, and even throughout Moscow as well.
VCHKOGPU notes that despite how strange this version sounds, no one expected a march on Moscow from the head of Wagner PMC, Yevgeny Prigozhin, either. The channel reminds us that during the mutiny, mobile communications were also jammed. The plausibility of this version is also supported by the fact that, in addition to central Moscow, communications are jammed near locations of security forces or where they live.
Friends, this was the project In the Crosshairs. Subscribe to the Unian YouTube channel to know the truth about what is happening right now in the entire civilized world, as well as in Putin's Russia. Like the video and leave your comments, it's very important to us. This was Vladimir Timoshenko with you. See you soon.